What if I told you the world's fourth largest island is home to creatures found nowhere else on Earth? A people whose ancestors may have crossed oceans thousands of miles away, and mysteries that even modern scientists still can't fully explain. This isn't some forgotten fantasy land, it's Madagascar. A place that feels both ancient and otherworldly, where every turn reveals something you didn't expect. Before we go deeper, let me know in the comments. Have you ever heard a fact about Madagascar that completely surprised you? I'll be reading them because chances are even locals sometimes get stunned by new discoveries here. Let's start with something most people underestimate. Madagascar isn't just a little dot on the map. It's massive, larger than California and Oregon combined. Stretching nearly 1,000 miles in length, the island is more like a continent in miniature. To the east, you've got steep mountain ranges shrouded in rainforests, constantly dripping with life. The central highlands rise like a hidden plateau, dotted with rice terraces that look almost sculpted by hand. Then there's the west, where towering baobabs, trees that look like they're growing upside down, stand guard over thorny forests and endless plains. And just when you think the land is wild enough, coral reefs fringe parts of the coast, teeming with underwater life. Madagascar feels like three worlds stitched together: rainforest, highlands, and dry savanna, all crammed into one island. But here's the catch. For all its size and beauty, Madagascar has remained strangely isolated. That isolation is what makes the next part of its story almost unbelievable. Drop a globe emoji in the comments if you're shocked by Madagascar's sheer size. Most people have no idea it's bigger than entire US states combined. Now here's where things get truly wild. Because Madagascar broke away from mainland Africa millions of years ago, life there evolved almost in complete isolation. That's why scientists estimate that 90% of its wildlife can't be found anywhere else on the planet. Think about that for a second. 9 out of every 10 species you see in Madagascar don't exist anywhere else. Lemurs bouncing through the forests like acrobats. Chameleons so tiny they could balance on a matchstick, and plants so bizarre they look like they came from another world. And it's not just the creatures we know. Every year, new species are being discovered. Some so strange they don't even fit neatly into existing categories. Picture this. You're walking through dense rainforest and suddenly, researchers stumble on a frog so small it could sit on the tip of a pencil, or a lemur that nobody even knew existed until a few years ago. That's the magic of Madagascar. It's like a living laboratory, full of mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. And the more scientists explore, the more they realize how much is still hidden. If you could discover a brand new species, would you want it to be an animal, a plant, or something underwater? Comment below. I'm curious what you'd choose. But Madagascar's mysteries aren't just about wildlife. The island also raises one of history's strangest questions. Where did its people come from? The Malagasy people aren't like any other population in Africa or Asia. Their roots are a blend of two worlds, African and Indonesian. But here's the strange part. How did people from Indonesia, nearly 2,500 miles across the Indian Ocean, end up settling in Madagascar centuries ago? Some theories suggest ancient sailors navigated the vast ocean using the stars, landing on Madagascar's shores long before European explorers even knew the island existed. Others think it might have been waves of migration, small groups arriving over hundreds of years, each leaving their mark. And it's not just about genetics. Look closely at their traditions, agricultural practices, and even their physical features. You can see both African and Asian heritage intertwined. For example, the way rice is cultivated in Madagascar mirrors techniques from Southeast Asia, while cultural customs echo those from Africa's east coast. It's as if Madagascar is a bridge between two continents, carrying the DNA of both but forging an identity that's completely unique. But their origins aren't the only thing that connects them across oceans. Their language tells an even bigger story. Quick question. If you had to sail 2,500 miles in an ancient canoe, would you take the risk or stay on safe land? Let me know in the comments, because that decision literally shaped Madagascar's history. If you really want proof of Madagascar's strange dual identity, just listen to the language. Malagasy isn't like Swahili or Zulu or any African language most people might expect. Instead, it belongs to the Malayo-Polynesian family, the same ancient roots that stretch across the Pacific, linking Hawaii, the Philippines, and even tiny island chains in the middle of nowhere. Imagine this. A farmer in Madagascar could share linguistic echoes with a fisherman in Borneo or a villager in Polynesia despite being separated by thousands of miles. That's how far this language has traveled. Over time, Malagasy has picked up new words from Bantu tongues, from Arabic traders, and later from French colonizers. It's almost like a living museum of history where every borrowed word tells you who came, who traded, and who stayed. And here's the twist. Language isn't just communication here, it's survival, it's culture, it's unity. Despite regional differences, nearly every Malagasy speaks this tongue, binding a diverse population into one national identity. If you speak more than one language, drop a comment with the languages you know. It's always wild to see how connected the world is through words. But knowing the language won't prepare you for what comes next, because once you hit the roads of Madagascar, you'll realize you're not in for an easy trip. Here's the part that shocks modern travelers the most. Madagascar's oldest road isn't even a century old. Think about that, an island larger than many countries, and roads are still a relatively new thing. Travel here isn't like booking a smooth ride through Europe or Japan. Schedules rarely exact. Comfort questionable. Some regions are so remote, a simple journey can turn into a full-blown adventure. Buses might break down in the middle of nowhere. Flights can vanish from schedules overnight. Even making a long-distance phone call might feel like a gamble. But this unpredictability is exactly what makes Madagascar unforgettable. Every trip feels like rolling the dice. You don't know what's coming, but you know it'll be a story worth telling. For travelers who crave the unexpected, Madagascar is paradise. For those who need strict timetables and luxury comforts, it's a nightmare. It's raw, it's real, and it forces you to surrender control. Would you dare to travel in a place where nothing goes as planned? Comment yes or never below. I want to see who's adventurous enough to handle it. But as raw as the roads are, Madagascar faces something even tougher than bumpy rides. The challenge of protecting its wild beauty in a world that keeps demanding more. Madagascar might look like paradise, but behind the beauty lies a struggle that could decide the island's future. On one side, you have one of the richest ecosystems on Earth. On the other, a growing population fighting for survival, farmland, and economic growth. Deforestation is one of the biggest threats. Entire rainforests, home to rare lemurs and plants found nowhere else, are being cut down for firewood or cleared for agriculture. Coral reefs face stress from overfishing and warming seas. It's a constant tug-of-war between protecting what makes Madagascar unique and meeting the everyday needs of millions of people who call it home. The conflict isn't just about the environment, it's about identity. Can Madagascar modernize without losing the very things that make it unlike any other place on Earth? Or will the push for development erase the mysteries that draw scientists and travelers alike? This isn't just theory, it's happening right now. And the decisions being made today will echo for generations. What do you think? Should protecting nature always come before development, or is survival more important? Drop your thoughts below, because this debate isn't just Madagascar's, it's the world's. And while the future feels uncertain, the present is still full of traditions and untold stories that keep the island's spirit alive. If you really want to see the heart of Madagascar, you have to look beyond the statistics and into the daily lives of its people. The Central Highlands rise thousands of feet above sea level, covered in rice terraces that shimmer like mirrors when the sun hits just right. Here, communities pass down farming traditions that have been perfected over centuries, blending Indonesian techniques with African resilience. Move west, and the landscape shifts dramatically. Baobab trees stretch skyward like giant upside-down roots, some of them centuries old. These trees aren't just landmarks. They're woven into local legends, said to hold spirits or protect villages from misfortune. Even the coastlines hide secrets. Entire fishing villages live by the rhythm of the tides, relying on skills passed down through generations. And within these communities, there are taboos, called fady, that dictate everything from what foods you can eat to which animals you can touch. Break one of these taboos, and locals believe bad luck will follow. It's these quiet, untold stories that reveal the real Madagascar. An island not just of animals and landscapes, but of people who've carved out a life in one of the most unpredictable environments on Earth. If you lived in a place with strong taboos, would you follow them or challenge them? Comment your answer. I'd love to know how you'd adapt, but the biggest untold story of all, it's the way everything, land, culture, mystery, comes together to form a place unlike anywhere else. So what's the truth about Madagascar? It's more than an island, it's a living puzzle. A land bigger than most people imagine, with ecosystems that don't exist anywhere else. a place where tiny frogs and giant baobabs share the stage, where ancestors may have crossed oceans against impossible odds, and where modern life collides daily with ancient traditions. It's wild, unpredictable, and in many ways, unfinished. Scientists keep discovering new species. Historians still debate the origins of its people. Travelers return with stories that sound too unreal to be true. Madagascar isn't a chapter in history, it's a story still being written, and maybe that's what makes it so magnetic. It's not polished, it's not easy, but it's real. A place that challenges you to see the world differently, to rethink what you thought you knew, and to realize that there are still corners of Earth full of mystery. If you've made it this far, tell me in the comments, would you ever visit Madagascar, yes or no? And if you learned something new today, hit that like button. It tells me to keep uncovering hidden stories like this. Don't forget to subscribe, because the next video might just reveal another place that feels like it belongs in another world. Madagascar isn't just about geography or culture, it's about curiosity. And as long as we keep asking questions, there will always be more to uncover.